The power of gratitude in action. Hello, my beloved son. It is with a heart overflowing with joy that I welcome you today. Allow me to ask you a question. How is your life after our last meetings? Have you been able to find more peace amidst the uncertainty? Have you felt the freedom to let go of what no longer serves you? I hope so, for every step you take toward the light is a gift to me. And if your answer is not yet, know that your presence here today is already a new beginning. Today, I want to tell you about a powerful force that can transform your life, a force that aligns with everything we've discussed. I want to tell you about the power of gratitude. You might think that gratitude is just a feeling, a thank you said from the heart. But I tell you that gratitude is much more than that. It is a conscious choice that empowers you, transforms you, and moves you forward. Gratitude in action is your decision to look for beauty even when the world seems gray. It's your choice to see the blessing behind the difficulty and to find the lesson behind a disappointment. When you actively practice gratitude, you're changing the lens through which you see the world. You're training your mind to focus on abundance, not lack. Don't wait for things to be perfect to be grateful. Gratitude is what makes things perfect. It shows you that joy isn't in having everything, but in appreciating everything you already have. Think about the small miracles of your day, the air you breathe, the water you drink, the warmth of the sun, the laughter of a child. These are gifts I give you every moment, and gratitude is your recognition of them. Active gratitude inspires you to act. When you're grateful for what you have, you feel more compelled to share. When you're grateful for your strength, you feel more confident to face a challenge. Gratitude is a seed that, once planted, not only grows within you, but also blossoms in your actions. It moves you from the place of, "I don't have," to the place of, "What can I do with what I have?" And it is from this place that your true journey begins. I invite you to a short and powerful exercise. Take a moment and list 3 things you are grateful for today. Now choose one of those things and think about how you can use that gratitude to do something good. If you are grateful for your voice, use it to say a kind word to someone. If you are grateful for your strength, use it to help someone. Feel how gratitude moves you. Now that we know how gratitude empowers us, let's talk about the strength that comes when we stop feeling powerless. In our next conversation, we'll discover together how breaking the cycle of victimhood.
Breaking the cycle of victimhood. In our last conversation, we talked about how gratitude empowers you. And now I want to show you how to use this power to free yourself from a mindset that holds you back. I want to talk to you about how to break the cycle of victimhood. I know you have felt like a leaf in the wind, blown along by circumstances, powerless in the face of life's challenges. It's easy, when pain and injustice strike, to feel like a victim. It's easy to blame the world, others, or fate for your hardships. And indeed, many things in life are beyond your control. But I tell you that your response to these things is your greatest source of power, and your power is in your hands. It's not about denying the pain you felt, but about not letting that pain define you. You are so much more than what happened to you. You are what you choose to do with what happened to you. Think of your life as a ship at sea. You can't control the wind and waves, but you can adjust the sails and the rudder. The winds and waves are the external circumstances, the losses, the disappointments, the injustices. Your sails and your rudder are your perspective, your choices, your attitude. The victim mentality makes you feel like you have no sails or rudder, but I tell you, they are there. I put them there. The first step to breaking out of the victimhood cycle is recognizing your power of choice. You can choose to focus on the injustice, or you can choose to focus on the lesson. You can choose to grieve, or you can choose to rise up. You can choose to blame, or you can choose to forgive. Each of these choices is an act of power. Taking responsibility for your life isn't about blaming yourself for the world's ills. It's about empowering yourself, about saying to yourself, something bad happened, but I'm not powerless. I have the strength to heal, to learn, and to move forward. This transforms you from a passive passenger into the captain of your own ship. I call you to be the author of your own story. Instead of reading the pages of pain from the past, begin writing a new chapter, full of courage and hope. Your strength lies not in the absence of struggles, but in your ability to overcome them and become stronger. And I will be with you on every page you write. I invite you to a small and powerful exercise. Identify an area of your life where you feel like a victim. Now, think of a small action you can take today, an action that doesn't depend on anyone else, to start changing this story. It can be a small step. Feel the power of this choice. The power of being a protagonist leads us to a powerful decision to heal the wounds of the past. And the most profound way to do this is through daily forgiveness. In our next conversation, we'll talk about forgiveness as a daily practice.
Forgiveness as a daily practice. In our last conversation, we talked about how to break out of the cycle of victimhood by taking control of your story. And for you to write this new chapter, you need to release the weight of the old pages. I want to talk to you about the deepest freedom there is, forgiveness as a daily practice. I know you think forgiveness is a grand, singular act, something you do once and then it's over. But life, with each new day, invites you to forgive again. Hurt, anger, and resentment are like anchors that bind you to the past. They don't hurt the person who hurt you, but you, robbing you of your peace, your energy, and your joy. And I call you to release these anchors, one by one, with each new dawn. Forgiveness is not a favor you do for someone else. It's a gift you give yourself. It's your decision not to let bitterness become your home. Forgiveness is not forgetting what happened. It's remembering without feeling the pain it caused. It's accepting your story and releasing the need for it to have been different. The daily practice of forgiveness begins with you. Forgive yourself for past mistakes, for the words you said, for the actions you took. Understand that you did the best you could with the knowledge you had. Be kind and compassionate to your own humanity. And by forgiving yourself, you open yourself up to forgiving others. Forgiveness is a choice. Sometimes you'll have to make that choice every hour, every minute. When the memory of a hurt comes to mind, instead of holding on to it, release it. Say to yourself, I choose to forgive. I choose peace. This choice is an act of courage,
an act of faith in me, and an act of love for you. I gave you the freedom to choose your emotions. Don't let what others have done dictate how you feel. Your heart is a garden that needs tending. Weed out the resentment and plant seeds of peace and love. And forgiveness is your primary gardening tool. I invite you to a small and liberating exercise. During your day, if you catch yourself thinking about a hurt, no matter how small, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and in your heart say, I release this hurt. I choose peace. Feel the lightness that this choice brings you. Daily forgiveness gives us peace, but to maintain it, we also need to protect our own hearts. And the best way to do that is through healthy boundaries. In our next conversation, we'll talk about the importance of setting limits. In our last conversation, we talked about how daily forgiveness frees you from the past. Now, I want to show you how to protect your peace in the present. I want to talk to you about the importance of setting limits. I know you have a kind heart that wants to please, that wants to help. You fear saying no for fear of disappointing, hurting, or being rejected. You feel guilty for putting your own needs first. But I tell you that kindness doesn't mean being passive. Love doesn't mean extinguishing yourself to brighten someone else's life. True love begins with you. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's an act of self-care and love. It's your way of saying that your peace, your energy, and your time are precious, and that I value them. Think of your energy as a spring. If you let everyone drain that spring without ever recharging it, it will dry up. Boundaries are like the banks of a river. They don't impede the flow of water, but they ensure it flows in the right direction, without flooding and destroying. You have the freedom to choose what comes into and what leaves your life. You have the right to say no to a request that overwhelms you. You have the right to walk away from people who drain you. You have the right to protect your time for rest and contemplation, which are so vital to your soul. Your kindness is often mistaken for weakness, but I tell you that the greatest strength lies in knowing your own worth. I gave you the gift of intuition so that you would know when something isn't good for you. Trust this gift. When something gives you a tight feeling in your chest or a heaviness in your soul, it's a sign that a boundary needs to be set. By setting boundaries, you are honoring me. You are honoring my temple, which is your body and soul. And by respecting yourself, you become able to love and serve others in a much more complete and genuine way, because your cup is full. You don't give what's left. You give from your abundance, and that's the beauty of living with boundaries. I invite you to a small, courageous exercise. Today, identify an area where you've been having difficulty saying no. It could be an extra task at work or a request from a friend. And gently but firmly set a limit. Feel the freedom that comes from honoring yourself. Setting boundaries helps us find outer peace, but the deepest peace is found in a much calmer place, silence. Let's now talk about the power of stillness. Finding strength in stillness. In our last conversation, we discussed the importance of setting boundaries to protect your outer peace. Now, I want to guide you to the source of inner peace. I want to talk to you about how to find strength in stillness. I know you live in a world of constant noise. The sound of notifications, people's demands, and the noise of your own thoughts. You've learned to be productive, to do things, to always be on the move. And so silence can feel strange, even frightening. But I tell you, your greatest strength lies not in what you do, but in who you are when you stop doing it. Stillness is not an absence of life. It is the fullness of life. It is the place where your soul can finally rest and reconnect with me. Think of a lake. When it is agitated by the wind, its surface reflects the sky in a distorted and cloudy way. But when the wind calms and the water is still, its surface becomes a perfect mirror that reflects the beauty of the sky and the world around it. Your soul is like this lake. When you're agitated, your vision is clouded. But in stillness, you can see clearly. I call you to the practice of rest. And I'm not just talking about physical rest, but rest of your mind, your spirit. Rest is not a luxury. It's a sacred necessity. It's the moment when you allow yourself to release the weight of the world and be filled with my peace. In stillness, you find your inner strength. It is in this space that your intuition becomes clearer. It is in this space that your creativity flourishes. It is in this space that you remember who you truly are, my beloved child with a divine purpose. And the fear and anxiety we discussed earlier lose their power in silence, because silence is proof that you are safe in my arms. Don't feel guilty about taking time for stillness. It's your way of renewing yourself. It's your way of filling yourself so you can then give to others. Stillness is your daily retreat, your private sanctuary, and I will be there, waiting for you. I invite you to a small, peaceful exercise. Today, set aside 5 minutes. 5 minutes where you do nothing. Just sit in silence. Observe your breathing and feel the peace that comes from simply being. In stillness, we connect with our soul. And when we do, we discover that true happiness isn't euphoria, but a much deeper, more authentic state of being. In our next conversation, we'll talk about how to cultivate authentic joy.
Cultivating authentic joy. In our last conversation, we talked about the strength found in stillness, and in stillness, you reconnect with the truth about happiness. I want to talk to you about the difference between fleeting euphoria and a deeper state of being, cultivating authentic joy. I know the world sells you happiness as a product, a new car, a new outfit, a new achievement. It's a happiness that's always in the future, always out of your reach. And the euphoria it brings you is as swift as its departure. But I tell you that true joy isn't an event, it's a state of being. It doesn't depend on what happens to you, but on what's happening within you. Authentic joy is a garden in your soul, and I gave you the seed for it, and your mission is to water and cultivate it every day. Authentic joy is like the sunlight that shines even on a cloudy day. It is there, within you, even in the midst of pain, uncertainty, and hardship. It is the peace that remains, the smile that appears for no reason, the feeling of gratitude that floods you for simply being alive. To cultivate this joy, you need to start with your mind. Joy is not what the world gives you, but what you choose to receive. You can choose to focus on the lack, or you can choose to focus on the blessing. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't plant flowers, the weeds of bitterness and envy will grow on their own. Plant the flowers of gratitude, hope, and love. Practicing authentic joy is an act of faith. It's your way of saying, I trust that life is good, even when it seems difficult. It's your way of honoring the beauty of the present, which is a gift I give you every moment. Authentic joy teaches us that happiness can be found anywhere, including in our relationships. The next step is to learn to see my presence in the faces and hearts of those we love. In our next conversation, we'll talk about the divine in your relationships.
In our last conversation, we talked about how authentic joy arises from a deep place within you. Now, I want to show you how that joy multiplies and expands. I want to talk to you about how to see the divine in your relationships. I know you seek my presence in moments of prayer, in silence and stillness, and indeed, I am there. But I am also present in the laughter of your friend, in the hug of a family member, in the kindness of a stranger. I am in every person you meet, for you are all my creation, and my essence resides in each of you. Seeing the divine in another is the purest act of love, for it is seeing my presence in the world. Your relationships are the mirrors of your soul. They reflect your capacity to love, to forgive, to be patient, and to be kind. When a relationship becomes difficult, my invitation to you is not to run away, but to seek. Look for my presence in the person in front of you, even if they are hurt or angry. Remember that the person who hurts you is more often than not hurting themselves. Love, in its highest form, is the decision to see the light in someone, even when that person is in darkness. It's the choice to treat another with compassion, even when they don't deserve it. My greatest wish for you is not that you have perfect relationships, but that you have relationships that reflect my love, which is imperfect but healing. Nurturing your relationships is nurturing yourself. It's the act of planting seeds of trust, honesty, respect, and forgiveness. Don't wait for others to love you before you love them. Love is a gift you give, and it returns to you in abundance. Every act of kindness,
Every kind word and every moment of patience in your relationships is an act of worship to me. I invite you to a small, transformative exercise. Today, when you interact with someone, be it a family member, a friend, or a stranger, look at that person for a moment and think, I see the divine in you. Feel how this small shift in perspective transforms your interaction. Seeing the divine in others inspires us to be better. And finally, I want you to think about the greatest way I can manifest my love in this world. In our next and final conversation, we'll talk about leaving a legacy of love.
Leaving a legacy of love. It is with hearts overflowing with joy that we reach the end of our journey. In our last conversation, we discussed how to see the divine in others. Now, I want to talk to you about how you can leave your own divine mark on the world. I want to talk to you about leaving a legacy of love. I know the word legacy may conjure thoughts of wealth, fame, or great achievements. But your most valuable legacy will not be measured by what you accumulated, but by what you shared. Your true legacy lies not in your achievements, but in the hearts of the people you touched. And it doesn't begin at the end of your life. It begins now, with every choice you make. Your legacy is your kindness, your patience, your ability to forgive, your way of loving. And your life, my son, is the opportunity to build on that legacy every moment. Think of your life as a stone thrown into a still pond. Your legacy is the ripple that forms. It is the wave of love that expands and touches the lives of others, who in turn touch the lives of others. A single kind word can create a ripple of hope that spans generations. An act of forgiveness can heal an entire family. An act of compassion can change the course of a community. Don't underestimate the power of your small acts. The world doesn't need more heroes, but more love. The world needs your kindness, your smile, your presence. And when you live a life of service with the intention of spreading my light, you're not just improving someone else's life, you're building an eternal legacy. Your life is not an accident, and neither will be your impact. Your existence has a purpose that transcends time because the love you give is eternal. People may forget what you said, they may forget what you did, but they will never forget how they made you feel. And that feeling, that mark of love, is your true legacy. I call you to live a life that, when you're gone, doesn't leave a void, but a trail of love and peace for others to follow. Live a life that, when you look back, you know you used your gifts, your struggles, and your heart to make this world a more beautiful place. And know that I will be with you every step of the way, every gesture of love, every moment you choose to be my legacy. I invite you to one last profound exercise.
close your eyes and think about the legacy of love you want to leave. Think about how you want people to feel when they remember you. Now, think of one small action you can take today, an action of love and kindness that moves you toward that legacy. Our journey of conversation ends here, but your journey of life, love, and purpose continues. Remember everything we've discussed: the power of your words, the strength of gratitude, the beauty of a new beginning, the peace found in forgiveness, and the truth that your life is a legacy of love. I invite you to subscribe to this channel, activate the bell, and share this message of hope with those who need it. And come back whenever you need a reminder of my love for you. Rest in peace, my son, and be the legacy the world needs.